Hello there, my faithful ones, and anyone else new coming to this channel. My name is Edwin the Jesús, and I just wanted to say, as you can see from the title of the video, today I'm going to be reacting to the Prince of Egypt. Now, I believe this video is going to come up on December 25th, so Christmas, and I've had it in my heart for a while to do a movie reaction. I've kind of been a bit scared, because, copyright and all, but I'm going to give it my best, and I decided to react to this movie, because I feel like I can add some type of commentary. For those of you who don't know, in addition to regular college, where I'm an English major, I'm simultaneously attending Bible college as well. And what's funny is that we just, like, last Saturday I did my finals for this trimester of Bible college, and we actually did study the book of Exodus, which is what the Prince of Egypt is adapting. And I'm hoping to add my knowledge to this film and just to review it. And also, I grew up with the Prince of Egypt, and it's one of my childhood, movies, and probably my favorite Pixar movie of all time. So it's gonna be really cool to, be reviewing this little blast to the past. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. If you enjoyed this channel or my reactions, please like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully I have something interesting to say and I just don't get awestruck by the nostalgia. So let's do this, guys. Let's watch The Prince of Egypt. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to lower the volume so much. Oh god, the amount of editing that I'm gonna have to do. I've been seeing a Pixar movie in frickin' forever, dude. Not Pixar, DreamWorks. Have I been saying Pixar? I'm sorry. The motion picture you're about to see is an adaptation, keyword, of the Exodus story. While artistic historical license has been taken, we believe this film is his true essence, values and integrity of the story, and a cornerstone of faith for millions of people worldwide. The biblical story of Moses can be found in the book of Exodus. It's true. This film I wouldn't call completely Bible accurate, but it is, it does do a pretty good job of capturing the essence. A good adaptation. The music slaps so hard in this film, like, no joke, it really does hit really hard. Faster! Wind on my shoulders. I can't sing for crap. Okay, yeah, this is... Yeah, when the Pharaoh orders the death of the firstborn Hebrews. Yeah, I just want to cut... You'll see that every time I pause. But I just want to cut to say that some context... I mean, they explain it later, but... is that the Hebrews in the book of Exodus were, like, they were multiplying, is how the Bible says. They were, having a lot of children, a lot of descendants, to the point they were almost, as the Bible calls it, like, numerous. And the Egyptians became very paranoid at that this foreign people could essentially just, if they wanted to, maybe perhaps rise up and just basically take all of Egypt. And so what the Pharaoh did is that he enslaved the Hebrew people, but that wasn't enough because they were still, having a lot of kids. And what happened is that he basically makes this decree where we will kill all the firstborn. I believe it's male. I'm pretty sure it's just male, but either way, like, all the babies under a certain age, I believe it was 5 or something. And so this is where the background of why they're killing all these babies come from. I'm pretty sure it was just the males, because, I don't know, they probably didn't see the females as a threat. But that's just some context, some Bible lore, because I don't think they go into that deep of an explanation. So used to make me cry like a little baby. So Moses gets delivered to the daughter of Pharaoh. So it's baby Moses' look right there. I was like, huh. Okay, so I wanted to add, what's interesting about when Pharaoh's daughter found Moses is that Miriam, the older sister of Moses you see singing, actually in the Bible approaches, Pharaoh's daughter and basically kind of does like a little pitch where, hey, you found this baby that you don't want to murder. You know, maybe we, like the family, Moses' mother and them, can take care of the baby for a certain number of years, and then basically deliver him to you so you can raise him. And that's kind of what happens. So Pharaoh's daughter ends up giving Moses back to his original family in the first, I believe, 5 or, you know, several years of Moses' life. Basically, he's delivered back to his family, but they don't know, like, Pharaoh's daughter doesn't know that it's Moses' family that she's delivering him back to. Kind of to nurse him and, you know, kind of raise him in his little early years. And then when Moses, like, is probably like a toddler or so, he's sent back to be raised among the Egyptian royalty. So, you know, Moses kind of was aware of his background, and during those formative years, he was, you know, being taught the Hebrew and the Hebrew God by his original family. So, you know, I'm always going to do all that, but I just wanted to give some context to that. Yeah, so Moses and Ramsey, brothers, 21-year-old irresponsible Egyptian princes.
How'd you like your face carved on a wall?
I miss 2D animation, dude. Like, this and Road to El Dorado, I don't know, I just kind of miss DreamWorks 2D animation. It was really great. Oh, dude, the sheer, like, magnitude of these shots is so breathtaking. And very beautiful, I have to say.
You've always looked up to me. Yes, but it's not much of a view.
Oh my gosh, ew. I don't remember that. I'm having fun, dude. I should do more movie reactions. I gotta do the prequels.
Why do the
gods torment me?
With such reckless, destructive, blasphemous sons? But one weak link can break the chain of a mighty dynasty.
Oh crap, dude. Those words will haunt Ramsey forever. And there goes Ramsey's determined not to be the weak link, and you know, it has a great payoff to it later. That scene.
Father, you know it was really my fault.
The weak link in the chain. That's what he called me.
You care too much.
And your problem is you don't care at all.
My problem is I care too much about crap that I shouldn't.
That we're late for the banquet, for example?
Awkward. You gotta play it off, dude. Be like, fashionably late, future pharaoh, I can do what I want. I really like that it was all theater and smoke with these guys. Mirrors and smoke.
You cared about our
Johanna's vlog.
Why would I care about that?
Okay, so I just wanted to put that, Moses' comment, why would I care about your freedom? It's interesting because in the Bible, Moses knew who he was. Like, believe it or not, his origin wasn't a secret. Like, it wasn't like, oh, no one knew Moses was a Hebrew. It was actually, he knew it, and I'm pretty sure others in Egyptian royalty knew that Moses was a Hebrew, he was an Egyptian. And Moses, being aware of that, actually had the intention, like it says in the Bible, that he would rather, instead of enjoying the pleasures of Egypt, the sinful pleasures, he would go out to be among his people. So Moses had it in his heart to help his people, and here, like, if it were Bible, if you were going by the Bible, he would know, and he would be very much, like, supportive, and you know, I think it's pretty cool, because a lot of people don't seem to know that. Everyone's like, oh, Moses didn't know who he was until last minute, but he was aware of his origin and his roots, so to speak.
you must know.
Be careful, slave.
Oh, careful, slave. Get out of here, Jeff Goldblum.
And you are not a prince of Egypt.
Miriam, what did you say?
Yeah, he starts to realize it.
You dream.
Yeah, he starts to realize what he is, and I don't mind. Like I said, I'm not like a stickler. Oh, it has to be like the Bible. I actually I love this adaptation. I love this film, and I think it's probably a lot of people, when they think of adaptations, it's like it has to be like the original. Like, no, as long as it keeps the same spirit, I don't mind. I think this film does such a beautiful job of trying to get the heart of Exodus, and yeah. I say Exodus in a weird way, I know. Exodus? I don't know. All I ever wanted. This is my home. You know what's funny? When I was a kid, I used to like put on like a white towel, put on a little crown, and be like, "I'm the Prince of Egypt." Little 5-year-old Edwin. Oh snap! Yeah, this was such nightmare fuel when I was a child. Such a beautiful way to show like him ordering, and you think they're chasing Moses, but. No, it's about to reveal right now that it's not Moses, that's the target, and I just love the way they show it without just saying it. Like, I'm just saying it, but you know, it's one of those show, don't tell kind of situations, and it's done very beautifully through Egyptian, you know, art. And Moses would already be aware of this in the Bible, like, he would know, and, you know, he aspired to actually help his people. Even when he was a prince of Egypt. This is his origin story. Oh, yeah. They were thrown into the Nile to be eaten by crocodiles. Yeah, all the firstborn males.
Oh, my son. They were only slaves.
And it's interesting that's the last we ever see of him in this film. It's just like a haunting note, like,
Why did you choose me?
the gods did.
The gods did.
You know what's interesting about Moses' name is that his name means one who is drawn from the river. Now, like I mentioned, Moses already in the Bible knows, and he would go out to be with his people. And they do this scene very differently than how the original, than how the Bible tells it, which I don't mind, but I will explain in a few moments how this scene will play out after it plays out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I want to explain how this actually went. So like, the film, I love the way they did it, but in the Bible, it's much more, how to say, it's, here I don't think Moses intended to kill the dude, but in the Bible, it was murder. So, like I said, Moses already knows he's a Hebrew, and he aspires to help his people, and despite being raised and taught among Egyptian royalty, he goes out to be with his people, and so he notices, like, a guard, like, kind of like, doing the same thing in beating someone. What Moses does to help is that I think it's like he means to keep it hidden, so he murders the guard. It's like intentional, like, you know, I guess what would you call it, first degree murder? Like he kills this guy who was beating on this Hebrew. He then buries him and hides him. Like, Moses intends to get away with it, maybe just to help, but you know, murder is still murder. And what's interesting is that, you know, it's definitely more, like, I guess, planned, and he intends to get away with it, even if it be for good intentions. Still, you know, he commits this murder and hides the body in hopes to get away and to conceal himself, you know.
I just killed a man. We can take care of that. I will make it so it never happens.
I can rewrite history,
Change what I've
basically.
done. All I've ever known to be true is a lie.
Go ask the man called Father. Oh, sure, snap, dude. And he leaves.
Moses? Please.
So sad and so tragic, dude.
Goodbye, brother.
So, I want to also explain something else. So after Moses commits his murder, his premeditated murder, he thinks he's gotten away with it. What's interesting is that I think the day after he murders the guy, he goes out and he sees two Hebrews fighting with each other, and he's like, "Why are you fighting with each other?" You know, and you know, he's trying to like keep peace between them, and then the Hebrews call him out, like, "Oh, look, the murderer is lecturing us." And so Moses realized, oh crap, people know about my murder. and he runs because he's a fugitive. Like, the Pharaoh wants Moses dead. Like, it isn't oh, he's Egyptian royalty, it's fine, you know, we can rewrite it, or, you know, he leaves because he's sad or anything. Like, it's more because he knows he's about to be executed and the Pharaoh will have his head. So Moses runs from Egypt, and you know, he runs into Midian, the land of Midian. And it's definitely more interesting. Like I said, the Bible, he knows who he is, and he commits this murder with, not accidentally, but premeditated, hides the body. People figure out he did it, and he runs, because he's a fugitive now. And the Bible has no mention of Moses having this relationship with Ramsey, and you know, it's weird to think because it's so integral to the film, but it almost seems like Moses wasn't close to anyone, and when he returns, it's like him and the Pharaoh discuss, you know, like, let my people go, but there's no hint that they were close or that they were brotherly. It's almost like they were strangers. So I know it's weird to think, right? It's like, oh, it's such an integral part, Moses and Ramsey, but the Bible, there's almost no relationship between the two. No indication that they were brothers or anything. Maybe it's because Moses knew who he was and he just didn't fully bond with Egyptian royalty, but, you know, it's interesting to think. So yeah, Moses goes to the land of Midian. And what's interesting is that, like, I mentioned they aged down Moses. When he leaves Egypt as a fugitive in the Bible, he's 40. Moses spent the first 40 years of his life. Here he's probably like 20s, early 20s, but in the Bible he was a 40-year-old man when he commits his murder and runs away. Nobody keeps the ring from his brother. Oh, this would be a nightmare. I generally don't like sand, too. Like, I'm being genuine when I say that, so like,
Hey, wait. Please.
Oh my. Oh, don't
yeah, so this is Moses' wife.
Hold on.
I could never pronounce her name, even reading it. I think it's Sephora? Sepaya? I forgot. Oh yeah, Jethro, Moses' future father-in-law. He's about to go into another banger. This movie's just pumping out bangers. Like, the playlist, the soundtrack of this movie can be in my playlist any day. Whoever thought that the Bible and a musical and like an animated musical would go hand in hand, but somehow this film makes it work, even though it sounds like such a silly idea. In your life through heaven's eyes. No. This looks kind of fun, dude. I would be in this. I'd be like, heck yeah. I can't dance for crap, by the way, guys. This movie is moving me powerfully in my spirit. Yeah, he sees the burning bush, but it's not like normal fire. It's like almost otherworldly, and I really love the way they portray like God in this film. It's like something. It's supposed to be otherworldly, and you know, like this. Oh, you'll never see this in a normal day, you know.
Who are you?
I am that I am.
I am that I am.
I also love they gave God the same voice as Moses. I believe they had all the actors like whisper behind.
I am the God of your ancestors,
Yeah, you could almost hear it.
Isaac and Jacob. I have seen the oppression of my people in Egypt, so I have come down to deliver them out of slavery.
To a land flowing with milk and honey.
I shall send
You.
you. I shall teach you what to say.
Okay, so I want to mention that, like I mentioned, in the Bible, Moses' life is split in 3 40-year periods. The first 40 years of his life is in Egypt. The second is a fugitive in exile in Midian. And the last 40 is leading the Hebrews, the Israelites, in the wilderness to this promised land. And you know what's interesting? In the Bible, Moses had a stutter. He had a speech problem. So, you know, when he's talking about people not, or God saying, I'll teach you what to say, it holds more, I guess, meaning, because Moses, this guy who can't speak, this fugitive, this murderer, God chooses to lead an entire nation. And it's always interesting that God chooses people you least expect, what you least see from. Because a key principle in the Bible is God's not looking at the outside, what us humans see, God's looking at the heart. And I mentioned earlier that Moses was a meek man, the meekest man on the earth, as he was called in the Bible. He was so humble that, you know, God and him had a unique relationship that hasn't been seen in mankind since. And so it's just really interesting, I think, that I need to add all this. You know, maybe you might learn something.
You've chosen the wrong messenger. Who made man's mouth? Who made the deaf, the mute, the seeing, or the blind? Did not I? Now go. I shall be with you when you go to the king of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen. So I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders.
Like, yeah. Let's free the slaves, you know? Let's pull out Abraham Lincoln several thousand years before Lincoln himself showed up, you know? Look at all these haters, like, oh, who's this slave? Be careful, slave. I'm nothing, never mind.
He is our brother Moses, the Prince of Egypt.
Roll credits. Moses performs one of God's miracles, where he turns the staff. It's interesting. Okay, I know I keep saying in the Bible, but I feel like if I don't add, I want to give context to the original story and, you know, kind of where some things differ and compare. It's not to bring this film down, it's just I feel like it's the only insightful commentary I can give other than, oh, this is nice, you know? So when Moses goes to Egypt, it's interesting that Aaron, his brother, gets revelation from God, and so they meet like halfway, like, meet me halfway. Sorry. But they meet, and so Aaron and Moses are basically, you know, together. They have the full thing, and they reunite. And so when Aaron and him go, I think they perform another miracle, and like, it isn't Moses who turns his staff. I'm pretty sure it was Aaron who turns his staff into the serpent, into the snake. Another miracle is that I believe one of them puts their hand in their coat, takes it out, and their hand's infected with leprosy, which back then was a pretty bad disease. It was basically instant death. But he puts it back in, his hand's fine. It's another miracle. I don't think they show that one. Yeah, they don't in this film, but it's just interesting to see where the two divulge. And, you know, kind of gives you some insight, like, oh, this is how it played out here, but this is where the movie differs, and you get to see the adaptational changes, but still overall keeping the same message, which is cool. He's so unimpressed.
Well,
It's like, quite delightful. Little trick you did there. The children will be entertained, Moses, I'm sure. I should redub this movie, but with my voice only. Me, the voice actor of all these characters. Yes, Moses. Okay, this is another interesting thing. I'll add more commentary after this little song. You're playing with the big boys now. Playing with the big boys now.
Oh, that's pretty. Every spell and
This song is another banger, by the way. Like I said, this movie pumps out bangers like it's no one's business. Like, heck yeah. See, like, they switched out their staff with snakes. It's heavily implied this is all smoke and mirrors, which I really dig. See how Moses' staff devours the two snakes? Okay, so I want to say something that I really like. So here is implied that, like, well, it's pretty obvious that this isn't real. They're just magicians, you know, performing a stage act and impressing the more gullible citizens. But in the Bible, it's interesting. So there's no big musical magician trick. In the Bible, Aaron throws his staff down. Snake. It's a snake now. It's interesting because immediately after that, Pharaoh's advisors just do the same thing. Like, no smoke and mirrors. They throw both their staffs down, and they both turn into snakes. And it's like, whoa, what? And, you know, witchcraft, magic actually does exist, and it's channeled through demonic forces. And, you know, in the Bible too, Aaron's staff actually does devour both snakes, by the way. That they kept that there. But, you know, dark magic, satanic power is real, and it can be used. There are several times in the Bible it was used, and Pharaoh, Egypt had that power, though they probably attributed more to the gods instead of just Satan, but it is demonic power. Anything that's not God, you know, it is demonic by nature, and so it's interesting that they do the same thing as Aaron does in the Bible. The exact same thing, no hidden mirrors, just there, but at the end it goes to show you the difference between God's power and demonic power, that the one serpent conjured through Aaron devours the two that were conjured by Pharaoh's advisors through demonic power. So it's very interesting is all I'm saying. That's another cool little tidbit that a lot of people don't really know.
What do you see?
I see a better Egypt, Moses. I'm not the weak link.
Than that of my father. That is
I'm overcompensating, can't you see? Let my people go. Yeah, the river turning... I believe it was the Nile that was turned to blood by God. That was the first of the 10 plagues, and I don't think it was just the Nile. I'm pretty sure it was all the water in Egypt, except the Hebrews, of course, turned to blood. Then again, I could be getting that wrong, but I believe that's the main message. Like, the main river was turned to blood.
It's
blood.
Of the detail of Moses is the water he's on is not affected, because the Hebrews weren't affected by the plagues. They were fine. Egypt was the one who got the full brood of it. Oh heck yeah, we're getting to the plagues, dude. The best song of the film, in my opinion. I will never let your people go. Oh, I love the imagery. The visuals are perfect. You have Moses on the high ground and Ramsey down below in the darkness. It's just... oh, chef kiss, you know? And I believe the ninth plague, the one before the final one, is that darkness will just eclipse all of Egypt. And it's interesting that all of God's, like, plagues were kind of like a giant middle finger to the Egyptian gods, showing they can't stop this. Like, the Nile is meant to upset the river god, I think. Like, I don't know each Egyptian god, but each plague is a way to, like, you know, show God's superiority over the Egyptian gods. So it's really interesting is all I'm saying. It's a very interesting thing that I would recommend looking more into if you have the time. Because it's, like, so sad and tragic. Like, this is the last time Ramsey and Moses were, like, ever warm to each other.
And there shall be a great cry in all of Egypt, such as never has been or ever will be again.
So, the 10th plague is the death of the firstborn, I believe it's sons of Egypt. And, you know, it's like, it comes full circle. Like, that's what Pharaoh did. And now it's God, like, repaying that debt in a way. And how the Hebrews were exempt from this is that they were ordered to apply blood to their doors, blood of lambs, so that when the spirit, the angel of death, as the Bible calls it, came to these houses, it would see the blood and not take the children there, the Hebrew children. So it's, you know, it's very interesting. Well, I love the way they show it. Yeah, biblical accurate angels, as you've seen the memes, are very terrifying, but I love it's almost like Lovecraftian. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Lovecraft got inspired by the Bible. Because, yeah. And I really love it's like this eldritch, unknowable thing. It's not just some dude with wings on his back flying around with a sword. It's just this all-consuming entity. Just, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so cool. It's a trip. It's so awesome. You know, beautiful, the way they show it. Not the death, but I mean, just the way they're portraying this angel.
You and your people have my permission to go.
Many nights we've
Okay, this might be blasphemy, but I think this is the most forgettable song of the entire movie, and personally my least favorite. That might piss off some people, but it's true. Yeah, it's trippy as it looks. It's actually true. In the Bible, God just sends a pillar of fire to ward off the Egyptians for a while, and that's really cool. That is awesome, dude. Just splits that so they can cross through the sea. So God ends up causing the sea to eclipse Pharaoh's army. Ramsey's like a true Shakespearean villain in this film. It's just so complex, and the ultimate irony, the weak link, and at the end, he was so haunted by these words, and yet he ultimately fulfilled it. It's like it's such great irony and so tragic too, and that in trying to do, you know, to do the opposite of what his father thought he was, he only ended up becoming that, and it's, you know, it's so beautiful is all I'm saying. And here comes my boy Moses, wielding the 10 Commandments. Deliver us. Oh, that's so awesome! I love this movie! Ah! So yeah, guys, that was my reaction to the Prince of Egypt, and you know, I just want to add some more Bible thing. I'm glad they stopped the movie where they stopped it, because you think, oh, they're free from slavery, it's the end. No, in the Bible, it's just the beginning. In the Bible, they end up wandering. I mentioned earlier that Moses' life is divided in 3 40-year periods. The first 40 years, Egypt. The next 40 years in Midian. And in the last 40 years, wandering the desert with the Israelites to the Promised Land. And the reason they take 40 years is because so much stuff happens. The Israelites end up they keep complaining, they keep questioning God and Moses' leadership, and it's interesting, the shot where Moses comes back, he spends 40 days in a mountain gathering the commandments from God, the 10 Commandments. He returns because God's like, oh, my people have turned from me. So Moses goes back down, and then he sees that they built a false god, a golden calf, and they start worshiping it. Moses gets angry. He throws the 10 Commandments in fury, destroys them, those who led the rebellion to the false god are killed, and you think that sounds crazy. There's so much more that happens, and Moses has to deal with it. They stopped in a good spot, because it gets really bad. It gets horrible for Moses, and you know, he has to deal with so much in those 40 years from his people who've witnessed all of this and still question and complain about God, and it's horrible. Overall, they stopped it in a good spot, and my thoughts on the movie, I've already gone on the tangents of, oh, this is how the Bible did it, but we're seeing it different through the adaptation, and the adaptation, I think this is a great adaptation. It's not completely accurate to the Bible, obviously. There are a lot of changes, but it keeps the core message. It adds, but overall you can still see that it keeps the main message. Even though they add things, and I don't mind some of the things they add or take away, like, you know, they diminished Aaron's role, but at the end it's to give Moses more, you know, time. Obviously, the Pharaoh of Exodus and Moses, there's no indication that they're friends, that they're warm, that they're brothers. But they make that a core aspect. They change that in this adaptation to make it like almost like a brotherly rivalry, tragic fall, and it helps. And like I mentioned, it's like you think, oh, what, they're gonna take the Bible and animate it and make it a musical? Like, imagine you saw that in theaters, like, Jesus Christ, like, it's a story of Jesus, but it's through, like, a Disney animation, and there's musical segments, and you're thinking, like, you know, you would think that, but, this movie somehow pulls it off, what sounds like such a silly idea, and it's a beautiful film. If I had to give it a rating, like, how I rate movies is not 1 out of 10. I think it would be, I use letter grades, maybe it's because I'm a college student, A, B, C, D. I would give this movie, in my humble opinion, an A+. But, you know, I'm not a critic, but I think this movie is one of DreamWorks' best, if in my opinion, the best DreamWorks ever did, and it's very underrated. No one ever talks about it, but it deserves all it gets. And it deserves more, I mean. And yeah, I could keep gushing on, but overall, I love this film, guys. And if you like some of my insightful biblical commentary, you know, because that's kind of what I wanted to do, just like, okay, I'll talk about how the Bible did it, and we can see how the movies change, and gives more context, because I feel like most people don't read the Bible anyways, so you might not have known, you know, some of the things I was telling you, and how events played out differently in real life than to the film. But yeah, guys, that's about it, and I'm glad I just finished my Bible college this last trimester, where we studied the book of Exodus, because I feel like I brought some insight to it. So yeah, guys, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, help support Edwin the Jesus, guys. I would appreciate your support and your help. God bless you all. This is coming up on Christmas, so you know, this is a Christmas special, even though the movie's not about Christmas. But, you know, it's a special video. And, yeah, guys, stay safe, God bless. Now I'm gonna have to edit this the rest of this day, and, it's gonna be fun. Yeah. I've never edited a movie, so I'm not sure how this is actually gonna come out in the final product. But, yeah. Wish me luck, hopefully it's not complete crap. Bye!